Currently I'm looking at the TMDB client class. In this class, I've already started some of the migration process of pulling things out of the app delegate like the shared NS-URL session, the config, and some of this authentication state, and placing it here into our TMDB client class. Since the redundant code we saw in the last exercise all pertained to GET request, I've gone ahead and defined this function task for GET method. If you want to follow along with this, check out the GET branch that I've mentioned in the instructor notes. In this function, we're going to write some of that common code that we saw in the other request that will go and get something from the database and bring it back to our project to be handled elsewhere. I'll go ahead and open up the assistant editor so that we can see some of our existing GET requests. Our first step is to abstract away the code that's related to the method parameters. Although each method will have different parameters, we know that all methods are going to have the API key. We can ensure that this is included by appending it here in this mutable parameters dictionary. Next, we need to build the URL in the NS-URL request objects. This is almost the same as what we had before, except this time we're passing the method name in as an argument to the function. I also decided to use an NS-URL request instead of this mutable request because we don't have to have this header value. Now we can create the request, and then assuming there's no error here, we'll call this parse.json with completion handler function. This function is going to take the completion handler that we passed here into the task for GET method, and once it's done parsing the JSON, it's going to return back to the calling point using this completion handler. And then our last step, of course, is to start the task. Most of this code is pretty similar to what we saw over here in our original call, but now we have this nice generic function task for GET method that should be able to handle any of our GET requests. But this is actually only half the battle. To really make this work, we need to create some convenience methods that actually call this task for GET method. These convenience methods will be the perfect solution for removing all the web service logic away from our controllers, and we'll implement one next.